chilly Wednesday evening. Welcome to Candlelight Yoga. This is going to be a very gentle stretch for our hips, shoulders, back, and we'll do a little bit of heart openers, or a few heart openers just to uplift our spirits. Heart openers are really uplifting, and they should feel extra good for the shoulders as well. So if you happen to have a block and a belt, you can grab those. If you don't have those props, no worries. You can actually get by with a scarf, a towel, a belt, an actual belt that you wear around the waist. And most of the time you can modify without one, but they're helpful to have for some of the shoulder stretches that we'll do. And we are gonna start on our back. So I'm gonna take my extra layer off, and we're gonna start down completely flat on our backs with the legs straight out in front. And tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Let your hands come to rest on your belly. Ideally, your elbows can rest on the ground so that it's comfortable for your shoulders. And then as you rest here, just start to notice all the points of your body that are in contact with the ground beneath you. Notice the head supported by the floor, all the parts of the back, the elbows hopefully, and even the calf muscles and the heels. And then just take a moment to soften the muscles, particularly in the face. We tend to hold tension in our face. So notice if you're furrowing the brow, or if you can just soften the muscles in your forehead and soften the jaw. Starting to let the muscles just relax. Letting go of the tension of the day. Just welcoming this time to relax your body, soothe your spirit as well as your muscles, and then taking a moment to notice the breath, being aware of the breath, and then slowly letting the breath slow down, meaning lengthening out each inhale, lengthen out each exhale. Ready. Take your arms, reach them right up above the head and point the toes. You can take a full body lengthening stretch. Noticing how this feels, taking a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just bend your right knee, draw it into the body. And just holding here. And I'm going to just take the right leg out to the side, just kind of opening the hip a little bit, still supporting it with the right hand. You might bring the left hand to the left hip bone. And we're just going to use the right hand to move this knee around in small circles. So just opening up the hip. And if you have a belt, sometimes this is helpful too. You can just actually loop it around the knee, so it just gives your arm the ability to relax a little more, but you certainly don't need the belt. You can use your hand if you wish. And then take the circles in the opposite direction. And then take this right ankle, bend your left knee, and let your right ankle rest just above the left knee. So just holding here in a reclined pigeon. Lots of options for this pose. You can stay right here, or you can lift the foot from the mat and just hold. Or you can grab behind the leg. So each one of these is getting even more intense, so you kind of can choose your intensity along this spectrum of options. Last option is to straighten the left leg. Again, you can have the foot on the ground, the most gentle option. You can raise the foot and grab the back of the left leg or straighten the left leg. So each one is going to be a little bit more intense from the last version. Let's take about 5 good breaths here, nice and slow. And again, you might draw awareness to the parts of your body that are in contact with the mat or just supported by the floor beneath you, even if you're not on a mat. Hold and breathe. And then we're going to gently come out of this. Bring the leg down, uncross the leg, and stretch both legs down the mat. Once again, reach both arms up above the head. Stretch fingertips to toes, so pointing the toes. Take in a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend the left knee, draw it into the chest. Let the hands kind of hook around the shin, holding it in for just a moment. And then taking the knee out to the side. And then the right hand rest on the hip, just kind of anchor it down basically. And then we're going to just slowly rotate this left knee. And again, you can do this with your hand on your knee, or if you do have a yoga belt, you can use the belt. Just kind of gives your hand a little bit more ability to relax. And reverse the direction. And from here, bring the knee back in. If you've got the belt, you can set that off to the side. Now we're going to take the left ankle, cross it above the right knee. So we recline pigeon. And again, all levels are available on this side, so you can stay right here in the gentle version, or you can lift the foot from the mat. For another version, you can clasp the hands behind the right leg. Or the most extreme version is sending that right heel to the sky. And of course, always adjust for what feels comfortable for your knee. So there was a quote I was reminded of today, or it came to mind, I guess, when I was on a call with someone who had said he had spent 57 years in Michigan and now lives somewhere in the South, warm and sunny. He had a very nice tan, but anyway, he said he didn't miss it. And I was talking about how you certainly appreciate the warmer weather when you grow up in a place like Michigan. And so it reminded me of this quote from Anne Bradstreet. And she said, "If we had no winter, the spring would not be so pleasant. If we did not sometimes taste of adversity, prosperity would not be so welcome." So I feel like we have all had a year, or 2020 was the year of adversity, and I think we will all appreciate the freedom once we reach some new kind of normalcy. In the same way, we really appreciate spring and summer when we live in a place that has extreme winters. So we have to endure and imagine, even though this pandemic and all that comes with it is very hard, it's really teaching a lesson in adversity that's going to allow us to appreciate many, many things one day. Let's take one more breath here. And then we're just gently going to release that foot down, uncross the legs, and keep the knees bent this time. And let your arms come out at about shoulder level. Let your knees very gently sway side to side. I think another example is this fireplace, which for the first couple of years I lived in this house, it wasn't a working fireplace. And then I had this unit put in this summer on a day when it was 90 degrees, and it seemed like a funny day to be testing out the fireplace. I remember it was so hot in here. But oh, I appreciate it on a cold day like today. I appreciate it all winter long. I'm so thankful for it every single day. It's the little things. And then come back to center. This time draw the knees into the chest. And notice again what parts of the back are supported by the floor and what parts of the floor are connected with the back, or what parts of the back rather are connected with the floor when you just gently rock. And what feels good, what parts of the floor kind of nourish your spine as you gently rock side to side. Be aware of any sensitive spots as well. And then gently draw your knees toward your nose, or lift your head so your nose can go toward your knees, and just take a breath in. And then gently exhale, release the feet down. And from here, we're just gonna roll to one side. So we're gonna take it slowly and press yourself up very gently into a seated position. And we'll just bring the soles of the feet together in a simple butterfly pose. And so your feet can be kind of out in front of you, so your legs are in kind of a diamond shape from a bird's eye view. Grab hold of your ankles, and then we're just going to start a little bit of heart opening as we take some seated cat-cow. So you can just gently move your spine forward and back. Think of the lengthening in each direction. So you're just arching one way, taking it through center and arching the other way. Finding length, or a little more space between each vertebra each time. Back and forth, and you might find you get a little bit more reach, especially as you slow down and deepen the breath. So if I really try to tuck my head in and take a deep breath in here, I get so much more reach through the back and more stretch through the shoulders, all the muscles along the spine. So just take a couple more cat-cow movements forward and back. And when that feels complete, come back to center. Sit up tall. Notice how this feels for your hips, and let your elbows, if possible, kind of relax under the legs or any part of the arms. Really, it doesn't have to be the elbows. Sit up nice and tall, taking a breath in. And this time as you exhale, hinge at the hips, just let your chest come forward. So you're just trying to let the emphasis of the stretch go into the hips, and your head can relax. I like to use my elbows as a little bit of leverage, pressing inside the legs, but not too much pressure, just helping and assisting the stretch, basically. Take 3 more breaths here. Slowly come up, and then from here you might sit cross-legged or whatever seated position is comfortable for you, so don't be afraid to have your legs just straight out in front of you. We're just going to breathe for a moment, so however you're most comfortable sitting and breathing. Let your palms come down your thighs and kind of rest over your knees with the palms facing down. This is often very centering and grounding, and if it feels comfortable you can gently close the eyes. Think of the heart lifting as the shoulders relax. And once again, kind of soften all the muscles through the forehead and the jaw. And then taking a through the nose. And a deep sigh out the mouth. Think of all the time we spend in masks where it's harder to take a full breath and we're not getting the full oxygen. So let's enjoy it. If you're in the privacy of your own home and comfort of your own space, really enjoy the ability to take these nice full breaths. So we've got 4 more together. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more breath. And let it go. And then staying just as you are, letting your hands come together at heart center. And taking a moment to set an intention of what feels right for your practice. What's on your heart and your mind. And will allow this practice to have a greater purpose. And spin your palms just enough that you can interlace your fingers. Keep your eyes open and send the arms out in front. And we're going to do a similar motion, similar cat-cow motion, but just with the arms. So take your palms, press them out in front of you as you drop your chin towards your chest. Give your head really relaxing so your ears align with your arms. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, straighten the spine, let the arms come behind you. So several options here. If your hands interlaced behind you, great. If the thumbs cross, great. Otherwise, you can just lean back onto the fingertips and lift the chest. All of these are good heart openers and really uplifting. So we're going to take this into a gentle flow. So bring the palms out. Again, interlace the fingers, send the palms away as you bow your head, scooping your belly. Again, lengthen. You're lengthening through the spine even though you're in a bend. Take a breath in. Exhale, straighten the spine. Let the palms come behind. So your choice. Interlace the fingers, cross the thumbs, or lean back on the hands. Open the heart. Let's do 3 more of these. Arms come out. Interlace fingers, send the palms away. Around the upper back. Big inhale. Exhale. Hands come behind. Open the heart. Last 2. Inhale. Exhale, press the palms away. Reach. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands come behind. 1 more. Arms reach forward. Arch the upper back. Inhale. Exhale, arms come back. Heart lifts, chin lifts. And release. So hopefully that got the shoulders a little bit loosened up, but let's make sure they're feeling good. So let's draw the shoulders up towards the ears and down the back. So just big shoulder rolls. So the movements we did in the hips, all that does is help to lubricate the hip joints, and we're doing the same for the shoulders. So biggest joints in the body need nourishment every day. Shoulders up and back. And if you want, you can make the movement bigger. Get your arms into it and make big circles like you're doing a backstroke. One arm at a time if that feels better. Couple more breaths. And then when that's complete, we're going to do some stretching of the neck because it's hard to stretch the shoulders if we don't work on the neck as well. So let the right ear drop towards the right shoulder. And if you need to adjust your legs at all and how you're sitting, feel free to do so. So right ear drops towards the right shoulder. From here, you can let your right hand come down beside you, or those of you that want just a little extra enhancement, you can bring the hands to the top of the head. And then with this left arm, reach it behind you with the palm facing up. And then then from here, if it feels good, you can nod your head, just very slowly, and nod your chin. Do it in a way that feels good. Very gentle. Couple more. And then gently release. We're going to bring the head to center. So you should feel a difference in the shoulders. It'll feel a little imbalanced right now. And then we'll do the other side. So let the left ear drop towards the left shoulder. Again, the left hand can come down beside you, or you can bring the hand to the top of the head. Think of lengthening, and you're not pulling the head down towards the ear. You're just lengthening at that angle. And then your right arm is reaching behind with the palm facing up. And then from here, if it feels good, nod. Complete. Bring the hands down to the lap. Gently bring the head to center. Sometimes there's a little adjustment or need to turn the head in other directions. And then another one for the neck and the shoulders. We're going to drop the chin down towards the chest. Make sure you're sitting up tall here. So if the spine is compromised, it's going to compromise the way you feel this stretch. So sitting up nice and tall. Think the shoulders aligned over hips. Then drop the chin forward. And then just take half circles, side to side. And this is going to help us when we further stretch into the shoulders and the back. Taking it side to side. Center. Notice how that feels. And then a couple more shoulder rolls if that feels good. And then from here, we're going to come on to our hands and knees. So find your way into tabletop pose. Bring your palms so they align flat to the mat. Fingers spread wide, knees underneath the hips. Take a moment here to just gaze over one shoulder at a time. And we're going to get a little bit more twisted in the spine. So pull the belly button in so that you're in a nice neutral spine. Let your right arm reach up, gaze up towards your right thumb. And then you're going to thread it underneath, just reaching these first couple times. And then inhale, reach it up. Exhale, thread it through, just reaching. This time we're going to take it all the way down. So arm reaches all the way up to start. And as we exhale, we're going to lower the shoulder down to the mat and the head rests on the mat. Now, if for some reason your shoulder does not meet the mat, this is where a block can be helpful. You just want your shoulder resting somewhere. A block is a little harsh, so even a couch pillow would be better, or even a sweatshirt or something if you have it nearby, something soft. You just want your shoulder to relax into the mat. You want the support of the floor so that you can really reach into the twist. Now this left hand can kind of be placed up by the head and you can use it to leverage the twist. Go where you're comfortable here. And this is a nice one to really close the eyes and notice what feels good in your body. So where do you feel the effects of this twist most in your back? Or maybe other parts of the body, but just kind of notice. Bring a non-judgmental awareness, meaning just observe, let go of criticism, let go of overthinking or analyzing. Just notice. and breathe. The best thing you can do is just tune into where you feel the breath moving. How can it serve you in this stretch? A couple more. Now, when we come out of this, we want to come through or come out as gently as we went into it. So you might use your left hand for support. Gently press yourself up to your tabletop. And then it might feel good to just rotate your back in any way that feels good. Maybe some cat-cows. Maybe some movements with the neck. And then we'll do the other side. So coming back to all fours, remember pull the belly in so you're in a nice neutral spine. This time the left arm is going to wing up and open. Gaze up with the left thumb. Take a breath. As you exhale, you're going to thread this arm through. Inhale, reach it up. Wing open. Exhale, reach it through. Once more. Inhale, reach it up. This time we're going to take it all the way through, shoulder down to the ground. And again, make any adjustments. And then your right hand is going to be holding you in this twist, so you have it wherever it's going to help support the pose. And then notice your breath. One thing to notice is how you feel in the twist, or where you feel the most sensation. And then bring awareness to every deep breath and notice where it serves you the most. And your energy flows where your attention goes. Couple more breaths. And then your right hand's going to stabilize you to come back up. And back to hands and knees. Take a moment, any movements with the back that feels good. And then we are going to do a couple standing poses, but it's going to feel good. So just walk your hands into your knees to start. Curl your toes under. Separate your feet about mat distance apart or just a little bit beyond hip distance. You can either keep your fingertips on the mat, or again, a block is helpful just to raise the floor. And then just let your head and neck relax. So gaze through your legs instead of looking at the ground. Really release the creases in the back of the neck by looking through your legs. Let your shoulders or your arms kind of dangle. And if you like ragdoll arms, you can grab opposite elbows or wrists. Always keep a bend in your knees. This is going to protect the low back so that when we roll up, the weight of the upper body gets absorbed in the legs rather than the back doing the work. So right now we just want the back to relax. If it feels good, just shake your head out yes or no. Shake your shoulders, letting go tension in the same way we did with the facial muscles. Now you want to let go of tension in the shoulders. Feels good, you can rock forward and back. Breathe. And then when we do roll up, and by the way, I should have mentioned this, but if it's not good for your body, particularly if you get lightheaded, you can always modify these forward folds by bringing the hands above the knees or the elbows above the knees. You can still relax the head and neck. You just want to keep your head in line with your heart. So to roll up, we're going to bend the knees a lot, Roll up slowly. Roll your shoulders up and back. And just as we did in the beginning, you can roll your shoulders up towards your ears or just take big arm movements. Nice backstroke. And then if you're working with a belt, you can grab that. If you're not working with a belt, again, you can modify. You don't need to have one, but if you do have one, you just want a little length. And this is where a hand towel or a scarf can improvise. So behind your back, you want to connect your arms with a little length of the belt, maybe like 10 inches or so. And then take your feet wide, so you're in a nice wide stance. And get your feet really rooted into the mat. So again, be aware of what parts of the feet are in contact with the mat. For me, I am super flat-footed, so I think every part of my foot is in contact with the mat. But usually most of us have an arch or something that's off the mat. So just be aware of where your touch points are with the mat, and that gives you a sense of balance. And then soften the knees, hinge at the hips, come halfway down, meaning just make your upper body parallel with the floor, and then let your arms just gently sway side to side. This should feel good for your hips, even your hamstrings and your shoulders. And then where your arms go just kind of depends on your shoulders. So you can extend the arms into the air. If that doesn't feel good, you can have the arms rest on the back and just shimmy the shoulders. And then when we take it into the full forward fold, again, I caution anyone that might have blood pressure issues, or if you tend to get dizzy when your head goes below your heart, you can stay right here or bring elbows to the knees. Otherwise, soften your knees, hinge at the hips, come all the way over the legs, let the arms reach away from the body, ideally. And this is where some props are helpful. So if I were to interlace my hands or connect my hands, I don't have as much ability for my arms to reach away from the body. But when I distance my hands from one another, then my arms reach. And then just add a little weight to the upper body, which helps stretch the backs of the legs and the hips. If it feels good, rock forward and back in the feet. Be very aware of the roots or the parts of the feet that are keeping you connected with the mat and balanced in this pose. Couple more breaths. If you're working with a belt or other prop, you can set that down. Let your hands come just above your knees. Be sure to bend your knees a lot as you roll up. Standing. Woo. And now do a lovely shoulder stretch. So turn your toes so they point out. If you need to, you can pull your stance in a little bit. You just want to be balanced enough that you feel like you can hold this pose when you come into a squat. So bending your knees, letting your knees stay over the ankles ideally, hands aligned just above the knees, and then melt one shoulder down at a time. Oh, this should feel really good. Feel it most in the hips, in the shoulders, maybe both, and then we're gonna rise up. And then while we're here, turn your toes so they point forward once again. So again, just notice your feet kind of rooted into the mat. Bring your arms out at shoulder level. Turn your palms up and then just lift your heart, and then let your hands come behind you, just supporting your back in this back bend. So hands at the hips, elbows point behind. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, straighten the spine, and we're just simply gonna toe heel the feet back together. So now we're gonna do a tree pose, which we don't often do in Candlelight, but this is a really good stretch for the hips and good balance work. So you can start with your feet a little closer than hip distance apart, And then notice your posture more than anything. So shoulders align over hips. Your hips are aligning over heels. So nice strong posture or mountain pose if your palms are facing out or thumbs facing out, palms forward. And then notice how much strength it takes to hold your body in this position. So your muscles should feel like they're working to hold you nice and steady. As opposed to just a normal stance where the body's relaxed, you're actually working in a mountain pose. Hence the strength in the name. So then from here, hold that strength in your muscles as you lean into your right foot. Lift your left knee just a little bit. Turn the left knee out to the side. You can even keep this left foot on the ground. And then let your hands meet up at heart center. So we're just going to do a mini tree pose. Now there's variations of this pose. You can stay here, you can slide your foot up to the calf or even up to the thigh, but we're just doing a gentle version. So hands staying at heart center in this one. Core engaged. Couple more breaths. And if you wobble and fall out of it, no worries. Just come back in your own time. And then we're gonna turn that left knee forward, lower the foot down, and now we'll give it a shake. Now you can relax the whole body. So you might notice that. These are little things you can do. Like you think of standing in line places. You can actually think about how you're standing. You know, and if you just say to yourself, palms out, it just causes you to engage your muscles a lot differently than if you're just kind of standing, especially if you're holding something. The body tends to be more relaxed and putting the emphasis into the gripping of whatever you're holding on to. So holding this nice strong mountain pose, rooting your feet into the mat. Palms facing out, shoulders relaxed. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So you're just gently leaning your weight into the left foot. Lift your right knee. Turn the right knee out to the side. Hands come to heart center. So again, your foot can stay right here at the ankle. If you want to slide it up the calf, go for it. We're going to hold the hands here at heart center, just focusing on this posture. And if your tree is wobbling, like mine's kind of waving, or I feel like it is, then it's just a windy day, no worries. And then we're gonna slowly release that foot down, shake it out. So those are just little things you might notice how you take your practice into your day. Next time you're waiting in line, think, palms out. And it's just enough muscle engagement to reinforce that good posture and make you mindful of all the things that you learn here on the yoga mat. For now, we're going to come back down to the mat. So slide your feet out about hip distance apart and bring your hands behind you. If you're working with a belt, again, you can take a little grip of the belt, separating the hands, maybe 8 to 12 inches. Soften the knees here, hinge at the hips, reach the arms away as you fold all the way down over the legs. Gaze through the legs, so it even takes a little work to draw the chin into the chest, so you gaze through the legs rather than at your feet. Couple more breaths. And then release the hands, or if you have a belt, you release that too. Bring your hands down to the mat so you can bend your knees, and now we're going to step the right foot back into a lunge. So just a very gentle lunge here. Bring your hands on either side of the left foot, just holding. And then we're going to slowly bring the hands up to the thigh. Now if your right knee is not happy, then give it a little more cushion by flipping the mat over or sliding another layer of something underneath it. So starting here, again, think of this alignment of the shoulders. So you might start kind of leaning forward, but try to relax your shoulders, moving your hands to your hips. And then if balance feels okay, maybe the hands come behind and you open the heart a little bit. So these are all different versions. Again, your lunge might be right here, and this is perfectly fine. Another option is hands to the hips. Third option, along the spectrum of gentle to more challenging, would be hands behind you. Open the heart. Let's take 3 more breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. And exhale. Gently release. We're gonna come out of this same way we went into it. So curl those back toes under. You're gonna step that right foot forward. And we'll just switch sides. So step your left foot back. Gently lower that left knee, untuck the toes. Again, if you need to pad that knee, feel free. Make sure the right knee and ankle are aligned, and then slowly walk the hands up the thigh. And then decide where you want to be on this side, on the spectrum of gentle to more challenging. So here's the most gentle, hands on the thigh, shoulders relaxed. Next option, hands to the hips, heart lifted. And next option, hands behind, open the heart. No matter what you choose, let's all breathe together. So big inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more breath. And exhale. And this time, hands come down on either side of the right foot. You're just going to shift your right knee back. So now you're in your tabletop. And we're going to come back to our seated position that we were in not so long ago. So, so holding here, we're going to do a couple seated spinal twists that are really good for your hips and your shoulders. And then we'll be back down to the ground for a cool down and a lovely relaxation. So hang in there with me. I promise your shoulders and hips and your back will feel really good. We have this lovely little, I think it's poem or quote. It's a very short poem to read in a moment. So let's start by taking the right leg out in front, hug the left knee into the chest, relax the shoulders and take a breath in. And as you exhale, we're gonna very gently take the right arm around the left knee and just twist to the left, holding here. And then notice if you can enhance this twist. Maybe you can root down through the sit bones, lengthen through the spine, and just add a little more breath. And just subtle differences. Make the most of this twist. Let's take 2 more breaths. We're going to unwind and take a counter twist. So bring your left elbow inside the left leg and just twist over to the right for a moment. And again, 2 more full breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Come back to center. Now we're going to change sides. So hug the other leg into the chest. Sit up nice and tall. Slide the arm around the knee. Gaze over the shoulder. And again, notice where you feel this the most and then where you can enhance the twist. Sometimes it doesn't mean going physically to a deeper place, but just breathing a little more fully. One more breath. And then we'll untwist, take the counter twist. So now right elbow inside the right knee, look over your left shoulder. And back to center. And then pull the feet in. Let's take one more butterfly pose. So with the soles of the feet together, we did this in the very beginning, but notice the difference in how your hips feel. So with the knees relaxed out to the side, sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, hinge at the hips and gently come forward. So here is the quote. It's almost a small poem by Osho, who wrote, "Sadness gives depth. Happiness gives height. Sadness gives roots. Happiness gives branches. Happiness is like a tree going into the sky, and sadness is like the roots going down into the womb of the earth. Both are needed, and the higher a tree goes, the deeper it goes, simultaneously. The bigger the tree, the bigger will be its roots. In fact, it is always in proportion. That's its balance." So an interesting way of kind of weighing happiness and sadness as balance for one another. I thought those were really profound words, or profound way to look at happiness and sadness. So, speaking of which, let's make our hips happy. We'll come onto this pose. Bring the knees together. Lean back on your hands, and again, just sway your knees side to side. I tell you what, my back is happy because it has warmth behind it. So, again, I'm grateful for the fireplace. Just grateful to be inside. It's nothing like the coziness and warmth of a house on a cold winter night. When that feels complete, we're going to come down to our back. So turn so that you can lay flat on your mat, but this time with your knees bent. And again, notice how this feels for your back. There might be little adjustments you want to make, tucking your shoulders underneath. And just taking a moment to, once again, let your elbows rest down by your sides, your hands rest over your belly. Taking a moment to notice any difference in your body. Where are your muscles more soothed, more strengthened? Hopefully lengthened as well. We're going to come into a twist. So draw your left knee in towards your body. Lengthen your right leg down the mat. And we're going to very gently guide this left leg across the body. Now, if you have a block, it's helpful for resting the knee on. If you don't have a block, your leg can just kind of hover. And then you want to make sure your shoulders are square. Let your left arm reach out at shoulder level, while your right hand gently rests on your hip, left leg. And then turn your head so you're gazing over your left shoulder. And you might notice as you relax into this twist, where you feel it the most in the hips and where you can relax more and let go more. So if you feel your muscles gripping in any way, see if you can take a deep breath and then soften into those places. And remember, energy flows where your attention goes. So think of that as you breathe, and that'll help direct the breath to the spaces in your body that need it most. couple more breaths. And we're going to come out of this very gently, rolling on to the back and straightening the leg out. Let's reach the arms up above the head. And just hold here, lengthen out fingertips to toes, take a breath in, and exhale. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side, so you can draw the right knee in. If you're using a block, you can switch that out to the other side. And then using your left hand, guide that right knee across the body. Again, kind of adjust the shoulders and the hips so they're comfortable. Reach your right arm out at shoulder level and gaze to the right. So hopefully some of the neck stretches we did in the beginning of our practice are now allowing you to relax into this deep spinal twist even more. So notice where you can soften into the shoulders and make subtle adjustments so that you can really nourish that twist or enjoy that twist all the way up the whole length of the spine. At the same time, relaxing the legs, so you feel the stretch into the hips. Keep breathing. Closing the eyes if you wish, and that often helps to observe sensation and just observe the breath. Take a few more breaths here. Gently release. Come back to center. You might feel a little adjustment. I sure did when I came out of that one. And once again, stretch the legs down the mat. Reach the arms up above the head just for a moment. Let the body kind of relax with the arms as they are. This is kind of the same as we were talking about when we were in the standing. There's kind of the relaxed standing position, and then there's the one that requires a little bit of work, but it's strengthening at the same time. So when you just let your arms kind of relax, and this should feel good. But now let's get the most out of this. So really point the toes, reach the fingertips up above the head, lengthen out as much as you can. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And then one more deep breath in as you stretch, 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 lengthen, and let it go. And then let your arms come down by your sides or onto your belly. Let your feet splay apart. Now comes the part where you just completely let go and relax. I will play the singing bowls for you. So I'm going to sit up, but you can stay exactly as you are or nestle into a lovely reclined position of your choice. And I'm going to repeat those words from the poem by Osho, just so you can let them sink in as you go into your relaxation. And then I'll leave you with the sounds of the singing bowls. Sadness gives depth. Happiness gives height. Sadness gives roots. Happiness gives branches. Happiness is like a tree going into the sky, and sadness is like the roots going down into the womb of the earth. Both are needed, and the higher a tree goes, the deeper it goes simultaneously. The bigger the tree, the bigger will be its roots. In fact, it is always in proportion. That's its balance. Enjoy your time for balance through this soothing relaxation. Enjoy your relaxation as long as you wish. After all, this is the reward of your practice. So take the time to let it balance out the work of your mind and body. body. Remember the words from Anne Bradstreet: if we had no winter, the spring would not be so pleasant. If we did not sometimes taste of adversity, prosperity would not be so welcome. In the same way, we appreciate spring after experiencing winter. I hope you fully enjoy your relaxation and all the results of your practice after enduring some balance and good soothing stretches for your body.